Alright, guys, so we gotta talk about Palworld here because this shit is fucking hilarious to me. So, as you probably know by now, Palworld has come out, which is a new game from a Japanese indie developer named Pocket Pair, who seem to be a relatively inexperienced developer. Actually, I think this is only the fourth game they've come out with. But this game has released on Steam and Xbox through early access, so it's not a full release. And yes, that does mean there is some jank and bugs associated with it. But the game has come out, and it has kind of caused a complete shitstorm upon its release, which has been hilarious to watch. But I do want to say up front, I have not played this game yet. I don't have a Series X yet, and my PC is so old that if I tried to play this game on it, it would probably burst into flames. So I haven't actually played Palworld myself, though I have been watching a lot of footage of it. I've been watching some streams of it, and it does genuinely look like a fun game. But this game is a open world survival sort of crafting kind of game, which we've gotten quite a few of those in recent years. But what makes this game sort of unique is that it has a monster catching RPG element to it, which has actually caused this game to get saddled with the label Pokemon with Guns, which isn't the best descriptor in the world, honestly. Arc with Pokemon would probably be a more accurate way to describe it. But that's what everyone has gone with. So this game does have a roster of creatures in it, which are definitely not Pokemon, called Pals, which you can catch in definitely not Pokeballs, called Pal Spheres. Which you can see the very clear parallels here between this game and Pokemon. But yeah, you can capture these creatures, and what this game has been getting a lot of attention for is that you can do so not only by battling them with the pals you've already caught, but you, as in your human character in the game, can actually go up and physically engage in combat with these pals, which includes everything from just running up and punching them in the face, to beating them over the head with a club, to stabbing them with a spear, to shooting them with a fucking machine gun. So you actually fight the pals yourselves in order to catch them, and then you can take them back to your base, and you can actually put their ass to work. You can assign them different jobs in your base. You can have them gather materials for you. You can have them help you build shit. You can have them help you defend the base from raids. There's all sorts of things you can do with them. You can get meat from them and cook the pals. There's all sorts of things. You can take them out on adventures with you. You can pick them up in battle and use them as weapons. You can use them as meat shields, or there's one that's like a fire type that you can use as a flamethrower. You can give the pals their own guns and let them shoot shit alongside you. So the entire game is kind of ridiculous. It feels almost like a shit post come to life. Like, it's so stupid that I love everything about it. It's just great. So, looking at the roster of creatures, there are 111 pals in the game currently. They do plan to add more in future updates. But we've got 111 that are accessible now, along with 26 subspecies, which are sort of like just, variants or palette swap sort of deals. But looking at the designs of these pals, yes, admittedly, a lot of them do very much look like bootleg Pokemon, several which are very, very on the nose. A few of which even sort of look like regional variants of some Pokemon as well. But quite a few fall into that category. A few of them sort of look like amalgamations of a few different Pokemon sort of smashed together. Kind of like something you'd see out of like the Pokemon Fusion generator or something like that. And there are a few that do kind of look like shit. They are sort of goofy designs that really aren't the best. though not nearly as many as I was expecting, especially with a lot of other, Pokemon inspired monster catching games that we've gotten in the past, where we get a majority of pretty bad designs. They were relatively few and far between as I was looking through this roster. And then, on the other hand, there were also some that actually I think looked better than a lot of the Pokemon we've gotten in the last two generations. So it was sort of a mixed bag as far as the designs go, but quite a few of them I actually did like, far more than I was expecting, actually. And yes, that did include some of the more bootleggy designs as well. On the other hand, the human designs in the game are arguably more Pokemon-like than the PAL designs, which isn't necessarily a good thing. If you showed me these human designs and told me that they were Pokemon characters after the last two generations, I would absolutely believe you. Which, for as much shit as I've given the human designs in Scarlet and Violet, that's not the best thing in the world. I am not that crazy about the human character looks in this game, but they don't quite reach the nightmare fuel levels that some of those Scarlet and Violet characters have done. So overall, the game actually does look really fun. Like I said, I have been watching a lot of playthroughs of it and stuff, and I do look forward to playing it at some point myself. God knows when that'll actually be. But I am interested in it, and not just because I've been pissy about how Pokemon has been the last few years. On its own, it does genuinely look like an enjoyable game. However, the other side of this whole fiasco has been the reaction to this game, which, as soon as this game came out, it actually did completely blow up in popularity. To a shocking degree, actually. Within the first 8 hours of this game coming out, it actually sold over 1 million copies, which is pretty impressive for, sort of out of left field indie game like this. And then the most recent report I've seen, which I'm recording this on the 1st of February, it actually has over 19 million players in total. Now that's across all platforms. I think that includes 12 million from Steam and 7 million from Xbox. Which this game did release on Game Pass, so I don't know how many of those 7 million are people that actually bought it and how many are people that are effectively renting it through Game Pass. But regardless, that is an absolutely insane number for an indie game like this to be doing, especially from a relatively unknown developer. So there seems to be a lot of people that really are enjoying this game. However, there are other people who have had a complete meltdown over this game existing, which has been high entertainment for me, because this is, the sort of Pokemon fan that defended Dexit and all the other stupid shit that Game Freak and Pokemon have been doing the last few years. And they have come out and completely lost their mind over Palworld having this huge success. You can call them, Pokemon Shills, Pokezealots, Pokesimps, whatever term you want to use for it. But they've gone completely off the deep end. They've accused Pocket Pair of all sorts of things. They accuse them of using AI to design the monsters, which there seems to be absolutely no evidence of. They've accused them of stealing assets from Pokemon games, which there is also no evidence of. They've allegedly sent death threats to the developers, which I might get shit for this, but I don't care. I don't give a fuck about death threats either way. This is the internet. You get death threats for saying that you like vanilla ice cream more than chocolate. Everyone gets death threats if you're on the internet in any capacity. Unless someone actually acts upon them, I can't bring myself to give a fuck about it. There's no repercussions in general for people, threatening people on the internet. And as long as there's no repercussions for stupid people doing stupid shit, they're going to continue doing that stupid shit. So, I'm not gonna be giving any sympathy for that as far as that's concerned. I will, however, laugh at the Pokesimps having their meltdowns, because I do think that is hilarious. Especially after all the shit they've given me for rightfully calling out Pokemon's many, many flaws over the last two generations. Now, they've also tried to spur on a response from Nintendo, trying to get them to take legal action against Pocket Pair for, copyright infringement or whatever stupid shit they're trying to push. Which I don't expect anything to come of that. This game was apparently announced back in like January of 2021, which I don't know if I just missed it at the time or I saw it and completely forgot about it or what, but I have no recollection of this. But this game has been known of for a few years now, and if Nintendo could legally do anything about this, I feel like the Nintendo ninjas would have got to them long before they were able to actually launch the game. So if they've made it this far and haven't faced any sort of legal issues, I don't think they're going to face any in the future. Nintendo did put out like a generic, we're looking into it statement, but I think that was mostly just to get people to shut up about it. So I don't expect anything to come of that. But, in the meantime, we get to watch these clowns continue to seethe, which is high entertainment as far as I'm concerned. Now, the other thing I've been seeing a lot that I do really want to address is people that actually like the game thinking that it will somehow maybe light a fire under Game Freak's ass to put out a better quality product than they've been doing the last few years. Seeing people have such a positive reaction to Palworld might, make Game Freak stop pinching out the turds that they've been pinching out the last few years. Now, honestly, I highly doubt that. I don't think we're going to see any change there for a few reasons. First of which is mostly because Palworld honestly isn't competition for Pokemon. The comparisons to Pokemon pretty much begin and end with the PAL designs themselves and I guess the catching mechanics. Outside of that, the gameplay is vastly different between Palworld and the Pokemon series. Like I said, Palworld is an open world survival game. Pokemon is a turn-based RPG. They're not necessarily targeting the same audience, though I'm sure there is quite a bit of overlap there. Now, Pocket Pair has talked about one of the things that they want to add in one of the updates is a PAL arena, where you'll actually be able to battle with your pals against other players. Now, I don't know what form that's going to take, if it's going to be the same real-time combat that the main game has, or if they're going to implement some sort of turn-based system that is more Pokemon-esque for that. But as of right now, there really is very little gameplay similarity between these two games. And, of course, the other thing is that regardless of how good Palworld ends up selling, I don't think we're going to see any sort of change in Pokemon until their sales start dropping. Which, if they can put out the turds they've put out for the last few years and not have it negatively impact sales, then I don't think nothing will. In fact, sales have trended in a positive direction. Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet are in the top 4 as far as all-time Pokemon sales go. So, Pokemon's currently being rewarded for getting shittier as opposed to being punished for it as they should be. So, until their sales actually start to drop, they have no incentive to change anything. So, I don't expect Palworld's success, or any other game's success for that matter, to influence anything Game Freak or Pokemon is doing. Despite Pokemon desperately needing something to change in the course of their development and their output. But overall, I am happy about Palworld's success. Like I said, it does look like a very fun game. I am actually pretty excited to play it, even though I know I won't get to anytime soon. It does look like a very good game. I think they have made a good product. And again, it is still in early access, so it's not even a full release yet. There is going to be a lot of updates coming over the next few months and potentially years. So they're going to add a lot more content to the game. They're going to add more pals. They're going to add more features. They're going to hopefully, fix a lot of the jank and issues and glitches and such with the game, get that straightened out. So it'll be interesting to see how this game evolves over time and to see how long this success actually continues, or people just forget about it within a few months. So I'm excited to see where they go with that. And I'm also excited to see people continue to melt down over it because that's been highly entertaining. Between the meltdowns and all the fun streams I've been watching, this is probably the most fun I've ever had with a game that I've never actually played. But yeah, I guess that's all I got to say, so lots of luck to you and yours.